All right. Give it a minute and then we're going to just keep on going. This is 12:12 on the clock. That matters. This is for my Pisces for the month of December. So, sorry, I have everything far away, but that sounds about right. Welcome, Stan. All right. Can I have one gratitude card for my Pisces for the month of December? It's 12:12 on the clock. I like the way that came out, eh? Catch it. Alright, let's see what we got. Meaning. Alright. Loneliness is the poverty of self. Solitude is the richness of self. Today, be the friend to yourself that your heart most desires in another. Show up for yourself. When we're that friend, I was literally just, I swear to God, welcome James. I was just talking to a friend about this actual thing, like not even 2 minutes ago. Be the friend to yourself that you most desire in another. And the reason that's so important is because, unfortunately, when you hold that expectation for people, for friends, for others, a lot of times we're let down. We set ourselves up for failure. Welcome, Hubert. Welcome, Jordy. And we do that because we think that we give all this help and love to others and then we expect it back from them. Or we think that they would do it for us, and a lot of times maybe they can't or they won't. And that's for you to discern. But either way, you set yourself up for failure, and it's really a shitty thing to deal with, but it happens, right? Welcome, Faze, Miss B, and Harrison, and Big Mama Bear, welcome. So when we learn to be that best friend to ourselves, we don't have that expectation anymore. We create that space for ourselves with love and kindness. Forget it, as I'm talking about that. Forget injuries. Never forget kindnesses. Think about recent kindnesses you've experienced and how they have shifted your outlook. Welcome, Shelby. What are some ways you can be kind to others around you today? Welcome, Al and Serena, and Lord, I don't know how to say your name, but welcome. And Myra, welcome. So, think about recent kindnesses you've experienced and how they have shifted your outlook. What are some ways you can be kind to others around you today? Just get curious, right? That's the most important thing, is that that's how we learn to be our best friend, right? I guess I could do it upright way. That's how we learn to be our own best friend, right? When we think on those kindness and how we've been kind to others, we also think, well, what if I did that for myself? Because I'm not sure if how many people understand this. Welcome, Checks. But how many times have you really gone above and beyond for someone, or done so many things, not for any other reason, but because that's who you are? Welcome, Danimal and Princess and Ocean. Welcome. How many times have you done that? You went above and beyond and you did all these things, and then because that's just who you are, right? And you just think all people are good like that. There's no direct expectation, but that's what you think people do. And then when things happen, they're like, you do this kindness and they taint it. They put a negative connotation to it, or that wasn't enough, or that wasn't this, or whatever. Somebody just not happy with it. Welcome, Pamela and Sanayat and Jalal, Easton and Bridget. Welcome. So when those things happen and you think to yourself, man, if somebody had did that for me, I wouldn't have wasted it. I would have been so grateful, and I would have been able to do this, and this. Leo, welcome. So when we start to understand that, and when you think to yourself, the reason that thought is coming to your head is because you're starting to understand, man, people don't do those things for me like I do for them. But you have to understand that when you give, you're not giving with that expectation. But in the same turn, when you understand that and you think, man, if people had have done that for me, I wouldn't have wasted it, and I would have done this, and I would have done that, and I would have been so grateful. then start doing it for yourself. Start showing up for yourself. Start being that friend to you that you want so desperately in others. Because that's how you teach people how to treat you. And then when you do give, it doesn't matter what people think of that giving. And I'm not talking just financially, by the way. Giving does not always just mean financial. But when you give, you're able to give from a free heart. You're not creating a string. You're giving freely. So there's no expectation. You're not being set up for failure because you know that you give no matter what happens. And we got 2. Growth and overwhelm. Seems so quite the, I would say, opposite, but truly they're not, because the overwhelm is what creates the growth when you start to understand. Welcome the big dog and bad. So, and also angel number 11 and angel number 19 might be helpful. Oh, there's 19. Let's do overwhelm first, though. Okay. Sorry. My desk needs to be bigger. Welcome, K-Vamp. Okay. The hard work we love can leave us feeling burdened, drained, and burnout, among other problems. The Overwhelm card is an indication that our efforts to actualize our creativity must be balanced with rest. We must know ourselves and our limits and avoid excesses. It can be a reminder that we are limited in how much time, energy, and other resources we have to spare from our other challenges, so we can deal with the new one at hand. The plan you have conceived might be too much, too soon, or both. Another meaning could be that the key to formulating a creative solution to your challenge could be to overwhelm the problem, to come at it from as many angles as possible. In sports, this concept is called flooding the zone. Putting all your players in one area so that overwhelming force produces the desired outcome, right? So when you start figuring out the way around the problem, you can use it as a limiting belief, a limiting factor, or you can use it to figure out and find your growth, right? Which is the next card. You can always figure out a way to take the negative or the stressful and turn it into a positive, right? And use it for your growth. Look at the peacock. It's my favorite. The growth card is an indication that you need to feel proud of your decision to grow and to realize that not everyone is this brave and adventurous. It can be a reminder that we do not know all the answers and must be open to growing in every way possible. Growth happens slowly but surely in nature, and that is how to approach it when you pick this card. It can symbolize exploring the possibilities of growing a business, taking on one or more partners, adding onto a project that you are contemplating or actively engaged in. If you have been concerned about uncontrolled growth, then this card is an indication that you may need professional guidance regarding how to proceed, right? It's understanding that when we take that overwhelm and take that understanding and we can take all of the positives from it and get rid of the negatives, the negatives just teach you how to pivot. They teach you how to learn, how to understand, how to separate and use the good to your growth, right? And release the negative. Understand that the negative was to push the growth. It was the universe pushing you off the cliff saying, you're almost there and you're not going to jump, so here, I'm just going to push it, right? I'm going to give you the little boost, which sometimes is not fun, but look at the bottom of the deck. Your dreams need a practical plan. You're getting there, right? And when you create that plan and you do the step work for it, even if you don't have all the steps, when you're making the steps one step at a time, sometimes you're stepping blindly and you don't even know where the next step is coming. 12:21 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. You're stepping blindly, but what truly happens is you are creating the plan by stepping forward, and you are doing it, and you know you need to get here, 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 but you're leaving the space open to how to get there. I'll take the steps, and if you're stepping me sideways, I'm going to trust it because there's something there that I'm going to learn along the way that's going to make it so much more important. That's going to be beneficial to the end path, right? And that's where that 1221 comes in. That matters. That angel number aligns very well. All right. That was too many, but I'll take this top one. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Full moon in Capricorn. One sec. Angel number 86 might also have some helpful insight here. Apparently I can't get the... Alright. How hard are you willing to work for what you want? This card is reminding you that effort is required. Work issues may be about to come to a head when this card comes up. If you are wondering if you should stay in your job or leave, this card can be a strong sign to make an exit. The end of a rough time is forecast. This card can also ask you to consider how ambitious you are and whether you're prepared to pull out all the stops to make your professional dreams come true without being ruthless. With a love question, this card can be a call to face reality. Whatever situation you're asking about, making a plan will help. If your personal life is troubled, prioritize it more. Welcome, Odie. How are you? Thank you. Release control and trust the universe. A professional project may be ending now. Admit if you have been overly hard-headed or hard-nosed. Stubborn, I think would be the word, and I know that one well. Find a balance between your personal and private lives. It's time to stop fearing the worst. The full moon in Capricorn has a very strong work ethic and energy and will more than likely come up when you're asking a professional question. If your question is about another matter, it will serve as a much-needed reminder to move through any feelings of hopelessness you may have been feeling about your situation, and this applies no matter when you draw the card. Making a plan is far better use of your time. And literally, I don't even know what sign she is, but I was talking about this kind of stuff with her, about learning to be that friend to yourself, okay, the same friend that you've been being to others, and learning to give that back to yourself. Because when you put in the work, those plans, those things that you give, that energy, that time you give to all these people that don't give back to you, and not always are they supposed to give back to you, but knowing and understanding the difference, and understanding when you see them consistently not giving back, consistently taking, consistently not trying to help, that's the universe trying to show you that you need to love yourself first, and prioritize yourself and your goals, so that when you are able to give, you give freely, and it doesn't matter what's done with it, right? Welcome, Joey. So, learning to be that friend to yourself, my Pisces, this is really an important part of it. Because when you start focusing on being that same friend that you are to everyone else to yourself, you watch how the world changes. You watch how opportunities start showing up. Watch how you start trusting in your efforts and using your efforts and all the things you've been giving to others to your best ability. And then you get grounded. You get to ground it, bring it to earth. Trust your path and get grounded, which is wild. Hi, Anthony. Welcome. So, Trust Your Path came out in the last one. And this is what's going on right now. And I'm not going to read them both just because this one talks about understanding that your strengths, your talents, those things that you inherently have are part of your path. They're meant to not dim your light. They're meant to teach you how to be empowered in your own greatness. What makes you separate from the world. What makes you unique, right? And get grounded. I just switched. I just was flipping the page right away. I said, yes, 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 yes. Focus on yourself. Put that energy to yourself. What you've been giving to everyone else. Be that friend to yourself. And this is the month that you really need to learn to focus on that. Because when you step out and you know you're going to put to work and you're going to trust. Where is that page? Apparently I can't read today. Give me a second. There it is. Angel number 66. Also look into it. That is a good number of balance and harmony and alignment. So when you start focusing on yourself, things start to change, right? So always when I say these numbers, 1221, angel number 66, go check them out. Get curious, read up. Always check in with your spirit team. But if you're not there yet, just look up the basic meanings, what they have there, because there's always going to be an answer to what's going to help you be your best self, right? Show up for you in the best possible way. So you're being called to get grounded, to ensure that your luminous field is clear and your inner well is full. Literally, I love confirmation. Thank you, Spirit. If you're not grounded, it's all too easy to get swept up in other people's energy and mistake it for your own. Your boundaries will become blurred as you are absorbing the energies around you and struggling to define what is their stuff and what is yours. If you pulled this card, you're very likely an empath or highly sensitive person and need time alone to fill up your well, balance your energy, and to get grounded. There are two types of people, those who draw their energy from others and those who draw their energy from within. Reflect on which one you are and carve out time each day to ensure your well is being replenished. Being sensitive is a superpower, but like all powers, it needs to be nurtured in order to be fulfilled. It is easy to get swept up in the high-frequency energies that are swirling around the planet. The quickest and most effective way of clearing all of this from your field is to ground yourself by connecting with Mother Earth. There are many ways to get grounded. One of the most powerful ones is to practice earthing by connecting to the power of Mother Earth. Spend your time in nature. Put your hands on a tree. Your palms are extensions of your heart chakra, or walk barefoot in the earth. And it's one of the best things you could ever do. Welcome, Nessa. Do something to get grounded and connect with the earth. And trust that when you fill your well, you're able to give freely. Okay, you're giving to what you can give. Not anything more, not anything less. And there's no expectation that comes from that. You're learning to be to yourself that friend that you most desire in everybody else. And that's what I want to teach, and I want you to understand is when you take that energy that you've been giving to everywhere else, you'll know, because that thought will come to your head, man, if somebody had done that for me, imagine all of the things I could have done, right? And when that comes to your brain, what is that telling you? Whoa, maybe I need to take that same energy and give it back to myself. Welcome, Laura. It's just the universe trying to say, do you see you? Do you see you like everybody else sees you? And I think December, that's kind of what's going on, is the universe is trying to show you, we need you to start seeing you like I see you, like everyone else sees you. If everyone comes to you for help and for all that things, they're coming to you because they believe that you can do it, right? You're the one that they need to do it. Oh, we're getting a whole bunch. Okay. Welcome, Marija. Welcome. Okay, so we got your life as a canvas, right? When you put that energy to yourself and you start being your own best friend, right? The one that you most desire in others, you get a blank canvas and you can start creating whatever it is you want. Okay, and understand that you're not for everyone. There's no one on this planet that is liked by every single person in the world. It's just impossible. Okay, and when you understand that, and you understand what your skills, your talents, all of those things that you have, clearly, because you're that best friend to everyone else, always, that you show up for them, you do the things. When you put that back to yourself, you start to actually recognize what's more important to you, right? What's most important. Hi, Destiny. How are you? And then understanding that every day in our school, this is what it is. This is how life is. And there's always a lesson to be learned. And when you can teach that, I love you too, bud. How are you? When we learn the lessons, that's how it is. Then you take a breath and you breathe. And trust that the universe is going to work out things for you exactly the way they're supposed to be. But you have to do all of the work. You got to show up for yourself. Trust that you design it. Okay? Understand you're not for everyone. If they love you, if they hate you, it doesn't matter. It's not your business. Okay? Understand every day on our school is how you show up and you breathe to life all of your desires and start being your own best friend. That friend you are to everyone else, start putting that to you and yourself. And then I have, you're so there, you've been giving all this energy to everybody else and kind of putting yourself last. And that's what I keep seeing over and over in this is time, trust your innocence. That's the bottom of the deck. I love this card. Trust your innocence. All of that stuff you've been giving to all these people and not to yourself. What would happen if you just took that same energy and put it to you? You wouldn't need as many people. You wouldn't need as many things. You'd be trusting yourself because you know how much energy you give. And if you can look at yourself and say, man, if somebody did that for me, I wouldn't have wasted it. I would have did this, and this. So instead of just taking that thought, do that thought. Okay, well, if somebody did, okay, well, nobody did. But I'm going to do that for myself. And I know I can trust that I'm going to do this. Because that's what I've wanted to do. That's what I believe. And that's what I already know I could do with it. So instead of saying shoulda, woulda, coulda, we're going to say, okay, let's put it into action. We're putting that energy back to ourselves, and we're going to give ourselves exactly what it is that we think that someone else should have done with it, right? Or that we think, and we're basically just doing exactly what we said. But instead of waiting for someone to do it for us, we're being that someone, that best friend to our own self, right? Okay, that was quick. Okay. Communication, co-creation. I love this one. And angel number 21, also look it up. There's a good one there. It's so funny. This is about speaking your greatness, speaking it into the universe, and understanding that when you show up and step forward, you're letting the universe know exactly what you want. We normally think of information as something that can be written or spoken, but if something is multidimensional, it is almost impossible to share it with words. I feel I have quite a lot of information in my field now, and yet my intelligence cannot fathom it. Metaphor or song may hint at its vastness, but it's more like a reminder or catalyst that encourages something to stir inside the listener. Art is one way I have sought to share this information. Whatever language you speak, the emotion and message of art and music can be understood. In my healing work, where I feel the energy that comes through hands, there is a sense that my soul and that of the client are in deep conversation. I often feel that I am much more competent at conversation in these realms. My synesthesia allows me to navigate this information in real time rather than having to slow down and translate it into words that feel constricting and dull compared to the vast yet simple nature of what I am looking to express. This is why I paint. A lot of the work I do is in the unseen realm. I understand part of my role is to bridge these realities and inspire a wider understanding of what is possible. Thus, you may notice unusual-looking codes in many of my paintings. I've experienced many visual downloads of luminescent coding that can be simple figures or complex and large enough to step into for an activation or healing transmission. The download experience is extremely blissful, visual, and with a sense of fathoming the unfathomable. When I return to my normal state of being, the information no longer makes sense. People often ask about the codes in my paintings. I ask them to imagine a whole library's worth of information imbued in a single letter, then extending that to encompass a whole sentence. The codes can open us to all the multidimensional worlds can share. They are portals to the edges of our conceivable realities. I have come to understand the codes are light language and have reveled in meeting other visionary artists who have painted almost identical light codes. As we evolve our conscious awareness, we start to pick up on information such as what those around us are about to say or that which the universe is trying to tell us. When we start showing up for ourselves and putting that energy to ourselves, we start hearing and seeing and being able to work with the universe because we're there for the downloads. We can see it, we can hear it, we can feel it because the universe is communicating with us all the time. But when we start co-creating, we start becoming our own divine authority. Pardon me, which is what the universe exactly wants from us. We're not micromanaging the universe, we're showing up and we're co-creating and we're speaking our greatness into existence. C. Matar, welcome. How are you communicating beyond words? Perhaps you are being misunderstood because there is a dissonance between your words, actions, and behavior and what you mean to communicate. Words are like spells, so be conscious of what you say, as you may be verbally sabotaging your intended meaning. Also, be reminded that words can mean different things to different people. Something may be getting lost in translation. An issue may be cleared through improved communication. Listen carefully to what someone has to say without interruption. Furthermore, it may feel scary to share vulnerable truth, but this may be the only way forward. This card also encourages greater exploration in the realms of telepathy, healing, and the arts such as poetry, painting, and music, where there is a collective communication beyond the mind. Don't get so caught up in the words and understanding. When you know what you know, you're going to step out accordingly. And it feels like what you've been working on is understanding who you are, understanding what you have to offer, what you've been giving to everybody else, and not so much giving to yourself, which is where the struggle comes in, because when we do that, we forget that we're worthy. We forget this. When we put our worth, we allow our worth to be spoken or decided upon on whether somebody shows up or what they do for us, which is just crazy because we're all inherently worthy. But it's a programmed thing, and from culture, religion, from programs on TV, from school, like there's a million different reasons why that's a thing, but it is. And when we start understanding that we're inherently worthy, we're inherently amazing, we have all of the greatness within us, and the people that don't see it or don't understand it or aren't grateful for it, then they're not your people. And you start to be, I'm okay with being not for everyone. I'm okay with being for myself first, and in turn, my people, the people that need me, that want me, that I want to learn from, that are going to reciprocate, right? Maybe not always at the same time, maybe not always, but moving forward, down the road, you may never even know this person, someone you've helped along the way, but they remember you, right? Those people will show up for you, and you have to trust it, but you're not going to be open to seeing that or trusting yourself or any of that until you start giving that energy back to yourself. And I think December, that's what it's kind of focusing on. If you gave that same energy you've been giving to everyone else and you focused it on your tasks, on your things that you had to do, on your divine authority, on your connection with the universe, that's where your greatness would truly start showing up, right? That's where you would see it. That's where your steps become more clear and easy. That was a lot. Okay, well, we went pretty quickly through this, so I guess I have to read these all because they're affirmations. So usually what happens when I have to read a bunch of them like these ones is because one of them is going to stick with somebody that came in with this reading. Just one of them will stick, and even if just one sticks, that's where we're winning. So, the divine fruit. As I work to improve and free myself, I strengthen my foundations. My intellect is light, my heart is warmth, and my soul is strength. I am nurtured by the divine sun. The fruit I bear reflects my inner light. When you start giving to yourself, it has no other, it's going to fill your cup. And if it's as within, so without, as above, so below, right? Your outsides start matching your insides. Attention. I am attentive to all that manifests within me. When negativity rises within me, I transform into light, love, and hope. My love for others is unconditional. I forgive. My desire to improve is constant. I am firm, brave, and hardworking. Instead of giving that attention to everybody else, we're going to start focusing it back to ourselves. We're going to be that best friend. Because when we do, we strengthen all of the things that we have within us. And then we get to step out in our divine right, in our divine authority. And then when we do give and we do help, we're giving from not a place of lack. We're giving from a place of overflow, so it never hinders us. We never feel like we need to receive something back because we're already filling our own cup. We're not spreading it out thin everywhere else, and then when we need it so desperately, nobody's there. We kind of did it to ourselves because we didn't understand. But now we know better, so we're doing better. And that's what's happening here with Pisces. Y'all are starting to understand all that energy I've been giving to everybody else is best served here first. And in turn, it will go out exponentially because I'm giving from overflow, not from lack, right? And then inner beauty. I open the eyes of my heart and direct my gaze to the light within every being. Personality and physical appearance are in the image of man. Beauty and goodness are in the image of God. These are great affirmations, and that's speaking life and strength into you and everyone around you. Welcome, Lexi. And then we have shining light. My desire to improve myself transforms fear into strength. Welcome, Rosie. I raise my thoughts above doubt and find faith in the goodness of the universe. I love and accept myself as a soul, and I discover the light that dwells in me. When you start putting that same energy that you've been putting to everybody else, whether they appreciated it or not, whether it was wasted or not, isn't going to matter, because first you filled your own cup. First you showed up and showed out for yourself. And in turn, nothing else is going to matter, because then when you give that overflow, it doesn't drain you. You don't feel lack. You don't go without. You have everything you need first, and then in turn, you can help others, right? And I've had to learn that the hard way, time and time again. I used to give until there was nothing left. And then, not only was that people didn't help you, whatever, they had their own, like, there's no judgment, but they didn't help you, or they took advantage, or they did whatever. But that's not, the worst part isn't even when that happens. The worst part is when you do something nice and you do something kind, and they find a way to taint it, to turn it into a negative thing. And that's, to me, was one of the most heart-wrenching things, to have your good efforts be so misconstrued into something so yucky, right? That's heart-wrenching. But that was the final straw for me, that was like, no, okay, well, if nobody appreciates that, or if it's always going to be this, why don't I start focusing into myself first, so I can learn and understand and show up for what I need, right? 12:44 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. And that's really important. It's important to understand that people can't taint what you do. They can't judge what you do. They can't make all of these assumptions when you don't care. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hinder you. It's not going to bother you. Why? Because you filled your cup first. So everything you give, you just give. And if they don't like it, well, then it wasn't for them. Oh, well, who cares, right? It's not our business what they do with it. You're able to give, and you don't create those strings. You don't create those attachments, because you're giving and releasing, right? So that's what's happening, I think, for my Pisces. You're learning how to give that back to yourself, and in turn, show up for yourself and not worry about any of the other things. Welcome, Joey and Rich Tats. Welcome. And then peace. I am unwavering in the face of fear. I come to my senses and embrace challenge. I am determined to think with gentleness and calm. I find inner silence and become a manifestation of peace. Because you get to a certain point when you fill your own cup, when you truly fill your own cup and show up and turn in, you be that friend to yourself that you always wish someone else would be, you get to that point where there's this space of peace, and you just know you've done all the things, and there's this calm, and there's this understanding, and there's this empowerment, but there's also this autonomy, right? This is a place where you know that nobody can sway your values. Nobody can sway what you believe, what you think, right? You know when you step out with integrity, with courage, with compassion, when you do those things, you know that that's what you're doing because you gave that to yourself first. You filled your cup, and you know, it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like what you did. It doesn't matter if somebody gets upset. What matters is you know, because you did the work, you showed up, you put that back to yourself. So you stepped out so strongly, so empowered, and so compassionate that nobody can sway you. They can try to taint it. They can try to call you names, insult you, do any of the things, but none of that matters because you don't care, because you're your own best friend, and you've done the work, and you filled your cup. And you know that any way you step out is always going to be with that same integrity, with that same compassion, with that same heart-led action, right? So it doesn't mean that they're always going to be perfect. What it means is that there was never a negative intention. There was never a reaction or retaliation or some form of lack or anger or upset. It was well thought. It was well clarified. It was understood every action that you took and every step you take. You know exactly why you're doing it. And, you know, you understand that if there's something for you to learn along the way, you're absolutely going to learn it. You're not going to hinder yourself. You're going to take the lesson. You say, all right, how does that help me moving forward? Oh, okay, now I understand. Again, because you're taking that time, process it, and understanding it, no matter where the steps are, you're filling your cup first. You're never going to be in lack, and nobody can sway what it is. Yes, you're going to always learn. Yes, your mind may change on some things because that's growth. That's learning. But you're doing it because you're being your own best friend. You're doing it because you understand that you're not for everyone, and that doesn't matter. You're for you first, and those that are for you are going to start showing up for you because you're being your most authentic self. You're giving to you what you've been giving to everyone else for the first time probably in your whole life. And it's a little weird, it's a little awkward, and it takes a moment. But once you start getting used to that, and I think that's what's happening in the month of December, that's kind of what you're focusing on. Because once you do that, your cup becomes full, and when you step out, nobody can stop you. Welcome, Donald. And Nabil, welcome. And then me. I allow serenity to reign in me. The love that I have for myself invites harmony to settle within my being. I listen to, honor, and strive to fulfill the needs of my soul. When you make that your main focus, okay, and fill that cup first, everything you do from that point is nothing but up. It's always going to be up. It's always going to be good. Okay, yes, there's going to be things that happen that we don't like, but you already know how to peel it back, how to sit with it, how to process it, how to show up and sit with yourself and fill your own cup first. So no matter what happens, as long as you come back to that every single time and you understand to fill your cup first, you're going to be unwavering. You're going to be open to receiving. You're going to be open to listening, and you're going to trust what your intuition, what your guidance is trying to tell you. You guys have been doing that, and now you've been doing that for everyone else, and you've been helping everyone else. This month, you're bringing it back to you, and I'm here for it. It's probably one of my favorite things I've had this month, you know, learning, finally accepting that if I bring it back to myself and I fill my own cup, I don't have to be angry or upset or resentful or any of those things, because I've learned how to do for myself what nobody has yet been able to do for me. And sadly, the reason they haven't been able to do that is because it's not their responsibility. It's our responsibility. But also, most of them don't even know how to fill their own cup yet. So it's not to be upset with them. It's not to hate them or hinder them or be mad at them. It's to understand that they don't know what they're doing. So it's not our job to teach it. We can lead by example. We can do it what we do, and then it's their choice if they want to put it into action or not. But either way, you're filling your own cup, and you're going to move forward that way. Stocking, welcome. And then open to the universe. I am discovering my worth and my abilities. I have confidence in my value and my potential. I reclaim my inner power. I accept and love myself completely. Thus, I am open to the divine light of the universe. When you fill your own cup first, your intuition, your thoughts, your steps, your movement, your processes, how you filter things, how you decide what happens, how you respond, because there's no reaction anymore. You take the moment, you process, you understand, this moment is very draining to me. So what am I going to do first? I'm going to fill my own cup first. And then I'm going to make that decision from a full cup where I need to move from here to there. And if that draining, or if that moment is something that constantly happens, then it's time to reconsider. Maybe I have to let that person, place, or thing go, at least for now, and focus on just myself, right? And when you start doing that, you'll understand that the load gets a lot lighter, and you start to see yourself more clearly, and you start to trust yourself more clearly. 888, karma. Balance, prosperity, success, wealth, cycles, cause and effect. Abundance is on the way, and it extends beyond just financial wealth. This is a reminder that true fortune encompasses all aspects of life. If you don't appreciate those around you today, they may not be here tomorrow. Take responsibility for your actions and use this awareness to unlock your greatest potential. Karma is not always bad. Everyone's like, karmic. It's just about learning lessons, right? And it's just the law of karma, right? So it's the law of reaction. Truly, like with every action, there's a reaction. Anti-war call, welcome. So understanding that abundance comes in many forms. And when you get that abundance, and it could be knowledge, it could be all kinds of different things. It doesn't have to always just be money or whatever, right? But when you understand that karma is what you put out, right? But if you've been putting out so much and not filling your cup, what happens? Whatever is coming back to you is not enough to fill your own cup, right? Because you've been giving to everybody else. So the way we're trying to make you see is that when you give to yourself and you fill your own cup, you know, as within, so without. So if everything's full and happy and good on your inside, what are you going to do? You're going to put out that good into the world, which in turn is going to mirror back to you, right? So that's karma, right? That's what karma is. It's the good, the bad, the ugly. It's just understanding that for every action, there is a reaction. So if all the actions I'm doing first towards myself is filling my cup, filling it with joy, happiness, love, respect, dignity, accountability, all the things. If I'm doing that to myself first and filling my cup, then what am I putting out there? The exact same thing that I'm filling up into my cup, right? So that's what's going out. And then what's going to start mirroring back to me because I'm putting it out. It may take a little bit of time because the universe weaves its web magically. But what's going to come back to you? The same goodness that you've been mirroring out is going to start coming back. And that's karma. Okay? It's not, if you're putting out bad, yeah, bad's going to come back. But it's not to punish you. It's just to teach you, to guide you back to love. Everything is to guide you back to love and show you where you need to be focused on yourself first, learning for yourself so you can help others. Welcome, K-Vamp. Give me two more. Okay, that's one. One more. I like the affirmations. I could read them all day, truly. Okay, so we got, my greatest experience of freedom comes when I let go of what others think of me. Just because you're not for everyone does not mean that you have to feel bad about it. Be yourself, your greatest self, always, and give that love to you, no matter what. And when you're worried about what someone thinks of you, the first thing you say to yourself is, that's not my business. It's not my business, sorry. The only thing that matters is what you think of yourself, truly. And then, I can expand time when I'm inspired. If you put a rush on it and I gotta hurry, I gotta be in time. And I know, because I used to be so bad. When I tell you so bad, I was always worried about being late. And it was such a worry. Like, I don't know how I didn't have a heart attack. Learning how to expand time when you're inspired means I don't allow it to rush me. I set the timing properly. I understand that I give space for this. I give space for that. And make sure that I'm allowing for that. Allowing for struggles, for hiccups, for all of those things. That's how we learn to expand the time, right? And then it's safe to slow down, relax, and let go. Right now you're filling your cup, okay? You're understanding that all of that energy you've given out to everyone else, it doesn't matter. Even if they get mad at you, then they're not for you, right? A lot of sometimes people will be taking and forget that there's a part called giving. And then there's other people, which I'm assuming might be my Pisces here, that give, and don't seem to get it back, right? There's always going to be givers, and there's always going to be takers, okay? And there's nothing wrong with being either or. What it is learning to balance it, right? Because we have to learn to give appropriately, how to take appropriately, how to receive, right? Learning how to be reciprocating that. And it takes a process. But if you're constantly in lack and you're constantly running on empty, you don't know where that balance is because you're completely out of balance. So when you start being your own best friend and you start showing up for yourself and understanding that you're not for everyone, and that's a good thing, we stop trying to please everybody else and we please ourselves first, and in turn please other people exponentially more because we're giving from a full cup, right? Attacking others is an attack on myself. I choose to release this now. We don't hold on to the negativity. We don't, and that resentment, the stuff that I'm talking about. And that's what happens when you give, and you run on empty. You start to feel this resentment. It's not consciously like you're trying to. You start to feel like, oh, they abandoned me, they left me hanging, but I did this, and that's a resentment, right? And you hang on to that, and what it does is it creates this poison inside of you that will eventually fester, just like an infection. And the idea is understanding what it was, what happened, and learning how to release that. And by releasing that, the only way to do that is to start showing up for yourself and giving that time back to you to fill your own cup. Then we have, I bring peace with me wherever I go. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Welcome, Jamie. And then my power lies in my peaceful presence. This one is always going to be my favorite because once you fill your own cup and you find that peace, it's priceless. There's no money in the world that can buy it. It doesn't, like, but you'll protect it with everything you have. And I'm telling you, you're not going to understand or even begin to learn what that is until you start filling your own cup and putting that energy back to yourself. Then we have, guidance is available to me now. I know that angels, ancestors, and spirit guides are always at hand. I do not walk alone. And if you keep spreading out your energy and giving to everybody else but yourself, what's going to happen? You're going to be running on empty, and you're not going to be able to even see, hear, or understand or listen for your spirit guides, for your spirit team. Why? Because you're going to be running on empty. And when people are exhausted and in survival mode and just trying to get by, you're running on lack. The struggle is real. You can't see anything past that struggle, and you only see life or death decisions. You don't see the other options and the other opportunities because you're so focused on the minute things and not the bigger picture. And the only way to get to a point to do that is when you're bringing that focus back to yourself, which I see you guys are working on, and I think that's a great thing this month to stay working on. Because come January, when you fill that cup and you step out, you know how you're stepping, you know what you're going to do, and you're confident. And in turn, you're going to help all those people along the way. You're going to be teaching, even if you're not like here on me, like me, talking, explaining it. You're going to be leading by example. They're going to see how you go through the world, how you've changed, how you take that time and effort back to yourself. And people are going to be like, oh, I kind of like that. I kind of want that, you know? And you'll start to see how people are like, oh, well, how did you do that? You're going to teach people even if you're not trying to. But most importantly, you're going to be teaching yourself. So giving that back to you, being your own best friend it's your homework this month. You've already started doing it, but I need you to understand that no is a full sentence. So if somebody tries to pressure you into something, if somebody tries to continuously ask you or make you feel pressured, if you can't, you cannot. And you don't feel bad for it because you've been running on empty for so long. You can only do what you can do. I'll pray for you, you know. I wish you the best, but right now I have to fill my own cup, and I got to figure that out first. You're learning how to be that same best friend that you've been to everyone else, but to yourself. And I'm here for it. I'm telling you, I'm here for it. Nothing brings me more joy. Compassion is my compass. I am willing to hold space for the experience of others. Right? When you fill your own cup and it's already full, holding that space becomes a lot easier. And it allows you the discernment. How much am I to give? How much space am I holding? You know, is this going to take from me? Am I able to give this much space at this much time? You really start checking in with yourself. Do I have the ability to do this? So, for example, like the other day, I went live, and there's I don't know what you call them, hecklers, whatever. It doesn't matter. They come on and they start talking and trying to get an argument. Now, I don't do the argument thing anymore. A long time ago, I always it did because I felt I had to defend myself. But when you start healing and understanding, filling your own cup matters more than anything else. So I was going to go on the next day, and I'm like, a lot of times I have the space and I have the patience, and it's not about arguing, but it's about saying, okay, I hear you, and you're allowed to believe whatever you want, um, but also standing up for yourself with respect. But then the next day, I'm like, I truly don't have the energy today to be that peaceful person, to be um, kind or compassionate. And if somebody comes and starts messing with me, I'm not going to say the nicest thing because I'm already feeling a little low in my cup, right? And then what happens, right? If you're in lack or you're giving from a place that's not filled up, that's when you snap or you say things that you don't mean because your anger, lack, resentment, you're drained, you're giving too much and not getting enough back, right? So I made the decision. I'm like, no, I don't want to be put in that situation. I don't want to be jumping down somebody's throat when if they've come to see me or come to understand, even if they're heckling, even if they're not being the greatest people, they're coming because something I'm saying is meant to sit with them. They're meant to catch that and plant that seed, right? Welcome back, Anthony. So, but I understood that and I knew enough to say, okay, well, my level is not completely full. So instead of coming and doing a half-ass job or not giving my full effort the way that I always want to be doing, I'm going to focus on me and I'm going to love myself in this moment and I'm going to show up for myself and do what I need today. And I got to sit back and I had my lunch and I relaxed. I work like a dog trying to get this done, my business done, all of the things I've been working on. And that's my choice. That's what I want to do in this life and I'm quite happy doing it. But we get drained and we get tired and we always got all these things going on. Learning how to give that love back to ourselves in those moments and fill that cup creates that space of peace where we can trust our decisions, we can trust what we're doing and trust our abilities because we know when our cup is full and we're giving from that place of love and not a place of lack or resentment or obligation or any of those things that take you out of that balanced space. In my Pisces, I see that you're doing that. I really want you to kind of commit to it, to say, I've been doing this, and how do I feel when I'm doing this? Just get curious. Check in with yourself and say, like, have I been feeling better? Have I felt a little more energy? Do I feel a little less angry, a little less resentful, a little less argumentative? If the answer is yes to even one or two of those things, that means what you're doing is a good thing. It's doing better. You're showing up. You're becoming that friend that you've always wanted from others. You're becoming that friend to yourself. Self-care, self-love, gratitude, affirmation are literally my pillars, right? They are my absolutes, my day ones, my never-ending. And when you start finding what your pillars are and what's so important to you, then you truly get to understand who you are to yourself. Welcome back, Laura. I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. When you fill your cup and you bring it back to you every single time first, how you perceive everything is from a filter of love, of joy, of compassion, of gratitude, and of self-love. It's the key. And you guys are doing really well. And I'm just asking you to stay committed to it this month. Stay focused on it. And if it takes a month to fill that cup so you step out in January your most amazing self, then do that. But use that time to fill your cup to get curious. What is the easiest, best ways to fill my cup on those days when I'm low? What are the smallest, simple things I can do to raise my vibration, to make me feel better in those moments? Create a toolbox. Create a small little toolbox. Put on the music. Do this. If I start dancing, if I go for a quick walk, You know, what are the tools that I can do that very quickly change from this negative or this feeling of lack to a feeling of gratitude, to a feeling, to the ability to fill my own cup. It's not just committing to it, it's as you're committing to it, learning what it is and what those things are and how you can use them, right? And how quickly they work. When you know something works quickly, we're going to pack that away in the tool belt. We're going to put this one away and that one away, and I have this one, so you always have something at the ready, the ability, the knowledge. Oh, not feeling great. Oh, I'm getting anxious. Oh, this is happening. Okay, go for a walk, do the dishes, do this, get up, move, right? You have tools. You're learning it. You've been doing it. So stay committed to yourself. Be your own best friend. But I challenge you to, not in being your own best friend, start getting curious and noticing and becoming aware of what those tools are, when you use them, how they change your mindset, what they change in you, how they affect you, and which ones work the best. Because when you have a tool belt that has those things for you, you don't react anymore. You're not full of resentment. You're not upset. You're your own best friend first and foremost, and that's always a win. Welcome, Leo. I'm just about to end here, but thank you for showing up. That's what I have for my Pisces. Y'all been doing so good, really so good. Stop giving to everybody else and give to yourself first. And I promise there's going to be all the time in the world to give to others, but you're going to do it from a space of a full cup, from loving yourself. There is no lack, and that's what matters. I don't know what to put here. Welcome. Thank you. I'm just leaving. It's the end. Oh, so I always post a replay on Creativity Guides Me on YouTube, or you can go to my website, which is www.creativelyguided.ca, and you can check out all my healing content. There's a space for that. I have it there, so you can always go and check it out. Also, I have my teas, my tinctures, my guided journals, my artwork, all kinds of great stuff. Lots of great stuff coming. Right now we're doing the Grace and the Grind content, which is just a once a week live, but talking about giving ourselves grace, not keeping up with the Joneses, not worrying about other people's expectations, focusing on our expectations and what we can do for our best selves for us. That's what this month is, and of course January, is going to be stepping out in accountability for us, understanding what is our accountability to hold, what is other people's, learning the difference, how to discern the difference, and how to sit with it and understand. So there's a lot of great things coming. My teas, I hand make them. They come with their own little ritual for learning how to be present in time. Welcome back, Anthony. Learning how to be present in time, learning how to love ourselves through it, and how to calm our dysregulated nervous systems and teach ourselves that we are inherently worthy and we are safe here and now. And my Pisces, you're learning that. You're doing really well, and I just challenge you to go just one step further in this thing that you're doing, which is so amazing for yourself. But figure out the tools, find what works for you, and pack yourself a tool belt so that these situations that are always going to come up, because the world is worlding. Learning how to understand what tools work best for you and putting it in your back pocket. You never leave home without your tool belt. You wake up, you check in, and you say, okay, I got my tool belt on. I'm going to make it through this day, and I'm going to do my very best. And truly, that's all anyone can ever ask. And you don't compare or compete with anyone but yourself. That is the number one rule. Do not rob yourself of your growth and your joy by trying to compare or wonder what somebody else is doing. It's great. We want to always celebrate other people's wins, but we don't want it to become a competition where we need to be doing better or we're not doing enough. We rob ourselves of our own joy. 111 on the clock. Use your intuition. If you find yourself comparing or feeling in lack of something, then you need to check with yourself, right? Is that the best way? Did I show up better than I did yesterday? Then I won. Period. That's it. Be your own best friend. Don't let anybody take that from you. 111 on the clock. That's your new beginnings. 888 karma. For every action, there is a reaction. And when you understand that and trust that, put the action to yourself. First and foremost. Welcome, Pharaoh. All right, my Pisces. I love you. I hope this helped. Go check out my website. I always do the replays up here on my YouTube at Creativity Guides Me. And, of course, my website, www.creativelyguided.ca. Go check it out. Buy some teas. It's Christmas time. It's the best time in the world to buy those little gifts. So, I love you guys. I hope this helped. Have a good day.